السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عبادي الذين اصطفى وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الجزاء وبعد. فقد قال الله تعالى في قول بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أصابكم من مصيبة فبما كسبت أيديكم وَيَعْفُ عَنْ كَثِيرٍ صدق الله مولانا العظيم. We thank and praise Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all His bounties, His blessings and favors and peace and salutations upon our noble leader, our master and our guide, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and upon all his companions sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim tasliman kathiran kathira. Wa ba'd. Brothers in Islam, that at the start of this Gregorian year, it is not our Islamic year, it is the Gregorian year, and already that we're seeing provocation from the enemies of Islam, and that is an indication that worse is to come. So whenever I tell people these type of things, then they are sarcastic, some of them. They accuse me of being some fortune teller, a soothsayer, someone who foresees or predicts the future. It is nothing like that. It is gathering the verses of the Quran, gathering the corpus of ahadith, studying and examining all these things, and seeing how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has wiped out nations before us for committing similar crimes. Now, just for this past few days, we have seen that one khinzir, a swine actually, khinzir is still a nice name, and pig is more of a reserved name. This is a certified swine whose ancestors most probably were part of those people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has turned into apes and swines. And he is the Minister of Defense, and with his dirty najasat body, he entered into the holy compound of Masjid al-Aqsa that is so dear and near to us, provoking a war again against the defenseless Palestinians. And the world is silent except for a few noisemakers, which are all allies of these Zionist pigs. Your NATO, your UN, your America, although they came out condemning, they are the ones supplying the weapons, they are the ones supplying the intelligence, and they are the ones funding the entire Zionist Israel occupation of the blessed land of Palestine. So that is how this Gregorian year is started. When you come a little bit closer to home, you see that there are level 9 weather warnings for KZN. So most probably there will be floods, people will die, buildings will be destroyed, roads will be washed away and wiped out, and then as well as Johannesburg. So there's a series of things happening in the globe today. And over the next few weeks I will discuss all of this. So some of these things are natural, some of these things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it on the radio. He has permitted the kuffar to play a hand in it. Some of these phenomenons are because of their experiment in the field of meteorology or weather manipulation. And for the rest of it, it is because of the verse that I have recited to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says beautifully in the glorious Quran, وَمَا أَصَابَكُم مِّن مُّصِيبَةٍ. There's nothing that will afflict you in this world. Yes, you can point fingers to the government. You can point fingers to your family. You can point fingers to whomsoever you want. وَمَا أَصَابَكُم. But the fact that remains is that whatever afflicts you in this life, whether it is your body, whether it is your wealth, whether it is your business, whether it is your family, whether it is your household, فَبِمَا كَسَبَتْ أَيْدِيكُمْ. It is your hands that has contributed to that. Your sins has led to that. Your sins, your actions, your bad deeds brought that down. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending it down because of the type of actions that we as the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is busy sending up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We in the month of January, I've spoken to so many people and some business people and how weak their yaqeen is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they've forgotten that Ar-Razak, that the sustainer is Almighty Allah. They're telling you now already, hey, that the next month or so, that things will be difficult. We're struggling to make ends meet. You think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is unaware of that? You think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only wants you to spend when He has opened up the doors of bounties upon you? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised this ummah, and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described the characteristics of a believer, He said, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ. The believers are such people. They are people of such a high caliber that they will spend during seasons and during times that is good for them, and they will spend when things are difficult and tight also. I think we have forgotten about the statement of Abi Qurra rahimullah ta'ala. He says, Kana ba'du tabi'ina yaqulun. He says, some of the tabi'in radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, the students of the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, they used to say, Allahumma inni a'taytani min ghayri an as'alak, fakayfa tahrumuni, fakayfa tahrumuni wa inni as'aluk. Ya Allah, you've given me so much already without me asking you. Whatever you have here, did you ask Allah for that? No. Did you ask? You didn't ask. Did you ask Allah to make you Muslim? No. Did you ask Allah to give you the ability to walk? No. Did you ask Allah for what you're driving? No. The table and the food on the table, did you ask Allah for that? No. So many things Allah gave you without asking. He says the Tabi'een used to make this dua. Ya Allah, you gave us so many things without us asking you. So how can you ever prevent us from granting us what we are asking you, Ya Allah? Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not take away and will not prevent and will not withhold anything that you are asking from Him, brothers in Islam. This was the dua of the Tabi'een. Why should we worry about the month of January when our risk has been predestined? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takaffal Allah bi nafsa, has taken it upon Himself to sustain this ummah. In fact, in one narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if I ask you now, you and me sitting here, to do a forensic audit, not a normal audit, forensic audit, that what was your earnings and what was your spending for the year 2022. Some of you will suffer BP problems, high blood pressure, stroke, heart attack, cardiac arrest, because you can't even give reckoning for 1 month. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam describing the generosity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this narration comes in Bukhari. He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so generous. Do you see how much He has spent since He created the heavens and the earth? Can you imagine how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spent? And everything is recorded by Him. You can't give a reckoning of one financial year. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has recorded everything since the day He created the samawat and the earth that we live on. So why should we worry? Why should we be full of fear? Why should we worry about what is happening, brothers, when everything is under the control of Allah and everything is also under the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Nothing is above the arsh. Whatever's under the arsh is under the control of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See there now, the European Union mandating all people coming from China. I told you, this thing is far from over. Mandating anyone who comes from China, PCR test is your name. You want to enter any European country, PCR test is your name. So welcome to COVID part 2. I told you before, this game that they're playing, the charade, it is far from over. Why? Because vaccine sales has dropped. Africa is not buying. 6% of Africa is vaccinated, and the least amount of people here died because of something what they call COVID-19. Now, because no more money is to be made, so we have to reintroduce PCR testing. We have to instill fear into the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, into humanity, to subdue them. And all we need to do is just to ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Brothers, don't concern yourself with sustenance, because Allah's taken that upon Himself. Don't be stingy also, because Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala said that there is no cure for stinginess. If you're stingy, you're stingy. You can go to any doctor, you can go to any chemist, you can go to any drug dealer and merchant, they're also posing as chemists. You can go to anyone. There is no cure for stinginess. Sayyidina Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, the wife of our beloved alayhi salatu wasalam, her husband was the most generous of people, and she emulated and followed in the footsteps of her husband. If you're a kind, loving husband, then your wife will imbue in her the qualities that you have. If you are a miser and you are stingy and you are vulgar and you ill-treat your wife, then you're creating a monster. Rasulullah was the best of persons, and likewise his wife followed. So after the demise of the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, a person by the name of Al-Munkadir radiyallahu ta'ala an, he comes to the mother of the believers. He comes to Sayyidatuna Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu ta'ala anha. He says, don't you have anything for me? I'm really in need. I don't have. I don't know who else to ask. She says, by Allah, I do not possess anything. But oh Muhammad, let me tell you something. Oh Al-Munkadir, let me tell you something. The first hadiyah, the first gift, the first money that comes to me, I will give it to you as it comes. This is the words of our beloved mother radiallahu ta'ala anha. Whilst she has absolutely nothing in her own house, she has nothing. فَبُئِثَ إِلَيَّ عَشْرَ آلاف دينارا. As he walks away, Al-Munkadir, someone sends to her 10,000 gold coins. 10,000 gold coins. We're speaking about the real gold, brothers. We're not speaking about useless rands and dollars and pounds and all these other fiat, fake paper currencies. That will also be manipulated. All these things I'm going to discuss in the next few khutbahs, what is going to happen in the world. What I want to tell you today is what sincerity does and what the world needs to beat the enemies of Allah and the enemies of Islam. She calls him back. She says to a khadim, go and call Al-Munkadir. When he approaches her, she tells him, listen here, I told you I have absolutely nothing. Wallahi, by Allah, I didn't have anything. But someone just sent to me 10,000 gold coins. Take this money and spend it how you wish and how you want, because I told you I'm going to give it to you. Her maid was standing there, worried that there's no oil in her own house, there's no bread in her own house, there's no worrying I have to take out the school list for this year, because the school is sending a list so long of stuff the parents need to buy just to mislead the students in the school. And the university's list is even more longer. And people are worrying now. First they used to promote these things in January, now they're promoting it in December already, telling you that curb your spending because you still have to spend on stationery and all these other nonsense requirements that used to be free other times. In our days these things were free and we learned. Today people are investing so much money in education and the students still not learning. Students in Muslim schools becoming atheists. Students attending Islamic schools becoming gays and lesbians. And the proud parent still pays their $3,000 a month school fees. She didn't concern about anything. Her act was an act of love and devotion and sincerity. This is what ikhlas does. She gives him the 10,000. He goes to the market. First thing he does, because he wasn't married, he buys a slave girl. Listen to this, brothers. He buys a slave girl. He marries that slave girl. When he married that slave girl, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him 3 sons. From those 3 sons, all of them were pious. But there was one outstanding son called Muhammad bin al-Munkadir. You open any hadith book, you will find him there as a tabi and as a narrator. A narrator of hadith, you'll find his name recorded there. That his name will echo unto eternity. It is joined with the name of Rasulullah in the chains of narrators. From one act of devotion, 3 pious sons and sons of Islam was born. This person, Muhammad bin al-Munkadir, a natural phenomenon, strikes Madinatul Munawwara. When Allah's punishment comes, it doesn't matter whether it's Makkah, where it's raining and storming now in Medina, or whether it is in South Africa. If it comes to you, it comes to you. There's a severe drought in Medina. And Medina is a place, a desert, there's no water. So if there's no water, there's no livestock, there's no vegetation. There's no drinking water, there's no wudu, there's no ghusl, there's no tumble dryer, there's no dishwasher, there's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here, we have excess of rain. 2 years ago, we had absolutely no water. This person, Muhammad bin al-Munkadir, radiyallahu ta'ala an, he says, one night I went to the masjid. This is how they understood the religion. He says, I went to the masjid because I saw the condition of the ummah. There's no water, people gonna die now. Too much water, you die and you drown. No water, you die of dehydration. See, Allah sends down everything in due proportion. Too much water, you can't live on this earth. No water, you can't live on this earth. He says, I went towards the mihrab and the mimbar. And I read Salah as close as possible to the mihrab. This is in Medina, Masjid al-Nabawi. And as I read my Salah and pleaded to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I saw someone coming in. His head was covered slightly. He just came in. This is tahajjud time, brothers. This is not Fajr time. Today the Ummah is sleeping Fajr time. Some ulama also sleeping Fajr time. Yes, they have to appoint the person who's the caretaker. Caretaker nowadays sometimes dual duties. You just stand in for Fajr for me because I'm a little bit busy. And then that busyness become a habit also. Until the Imam will tell you, I'm only available selected periods because of crime. He himself is the biggest criminal for not attending Fajr Salah, but he blames other people. This was tahajjud time in the masjid. He goes, he says, I see this person coming in. And this person raises his hands. And he says, Ya Rabb, Uqsim alayka, that Ya Allah, I take an oath upon you, O my Allah, illa an saqahum, O my Allah, I take an oath upon you that you should send down water upon the people of this land. That is all he said. It only took one person, brothers, one mukhlis, sincere ummati of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Muhammad bin al-Munkadir radiallahu ta'ala, he says, I heard what he's saying. فَسَمِعْتُ يَقُولُ. And this person stayed until Salatul Fajr. And when the Imam completed his salah, he says this person lowered his head. فَخَرَجَ وَلَمْ يَجْلِسْ لِلْقَاسِ. He went out of the masjid. He didn't sit around waiting for stories as our people are doing nowadays. As soon as the masjid is out, light up a cigarette or take out the vape and then discuss the ummah's problems while the fire is burning here by their lips. Discussing, you know that we should on the masjid grounds, discussing the ummah and wanting to solve the ummah's problems, but the fire of Jahannam is right here by their lips. Discussing with all the intelligence. Why? Because I have an LLB, I have an LLM, I have a BSc, I have a PhD, I have this degree and that degree. So if we join our intelligence, then we can work out a way to save the ummah. You cannot save the ummah from a decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This person, and I will tell you his occupation now, he just entered, he said, Ya Allah, I take an oath upon your name. It's raining in KZN, storming. Similarly in Johannesburg, you can't swim in the beaches in Cape Town. Then you have seals chasing these white people, these facade festive mongers out of the water. See, even the seal is doing that nahi anil munkar, preventing from evil, because they're half naked in the water. So Allah told the seal, be like a dog and chase them. You saw the clip going around, chase these shayateen out of the water, coming with their polluted bodies and polluting the ocean further. Yes? He says, this person didn't sit around in the parking lot, sitting and having story telling and saying what we're going to do and what. No, nothing like that. He did what he had to do as a responsible ummati, and that is the same responsibility, and that is what the world needs today. One female to stand up for tahajjud, and Allah will change this entire predicament that we're in. One Muslim just to stand up tahajjud time, Allah will change this. I'll prove to you. And Ibn al-Munkadir, kana azizan alayh. It was so sad for him. You know what was sad for him? Wa kana yukhfa alayhi. He said, it was so sad for me that I did not even know that in Medina we had such a pious person. Despite Ibn al-Munkadir rahimahullah ta'ala, he was a mujahid and a pious person himself. We run away from the pious people. We're not sitting in the company of the salihin. We're not sitting in the company of the ulama who speaks out the truth today. We're sitting with coons and entertainers, people who can make jokes in front, people who can make us feel good. That's why we're having a kufr nikah bill that they want to pass off as Sharia. So many problems here in South Africa. So many problems in the globe. Wallahi, I'm telling you. And Ibn al-Munkadir says, just prior to this person, or the Imam reading Salah or Fajr, he says, when I looked out the window, I saw one cloud approaching. This person has hardly made that dua, that Ya Allah, on your name, water please. That's all he said, Ya Allah, I take a note in your name, please send water. He says, as soon as he raised his hands, he put his hands down, Allah sent down a cloud. And then it started raining in Medina to Munawwara. The drought, what the modernists and secularists will call a natural phenomena, which is in fact a test from Allah, came to an end. Ibn al-Munkadir became sad. He says, I didn't identify this person. I'm a resident of Medina to Munawwara. My father used to go to the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He spoke to the wife of the Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. How come I didn't know this person? He said, I became so sad. I was very, very sad. I was upset that no one told me such a person existed in our community. How many such people don't we have in our midst that we don't visit? Why? Because outwardly they seem too pious for us. They're going to change our lifestyle. They're going to make us reach salah. They're going to make us grow beard. They're going to make us look like this and that. That is what we're scared of. We're looking for solutions other than our glorious history. Nevertheless, Ibn Munkadir, he says, I left him And then when morning appeared, I saw where he went in. He came in front of a door. He took out the key. أخرج المفتاح ففتح الباب فدخل. He opened his house. This person who made the dua, quietly and secretly. He didn't take a selfie, standing there, making dua. Guys, I'm going to make dua now that Allah must send rain. Or standing at the Kaaba like the rest of the people nowadays. You see all these people going for Umrah. Nowadays Umrah. And these are all adventures, brothers, people going there just to send 50, 60, 100 pictures a day of them standing there. The Umrah has not even been accepted, but the pictures has been sent already. So nothing of that. Their ibadah during those days was filled with ikhlas. That's why Nusrat from Allah came instantaneously. Instantly. Today, all our ibadah is captured through pictures and void of any sincerity. He went, he looked around, he saw no one following him, he entered his house. He didn't know Ibn Munkadir was watching him from a distance. He said, I went to his door, I knocked on the door with adab and respect. This person opened the door. But as I came closer, I heard like someone was busy carving something, a hammer hitting on something. And I asked this person, Adkhul, can I enter your house? But this person recognized Ibn Munkadir because everyone knew who was Muhammad bin al-Munkadir, rahimahullah ta'ala. He says, yes, you can enter. And Ibn Munkadir said, I saw in the corner that this person was busy carving pots. Look at his gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his occupation, brothers. He wasn't some Hazrat sitting on a flying carpet making tasbih all day. No. He was graphing, he was working, was an ordinary citizen. But the citizen had a bond with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't need a degree as a Maulana and a Sheikh and a Qari and a Hafiz up in this. If Allah wants to take you as His friend, He will take you as His friend. And Ibn Munkadir was shocked. He said, is this your occupation? He says, yes. He says, Kaifa asbakhta, how did you wake up? He says, Alhamdulillah, I woke up, And then he told Ibn Munkadir that, what's the reason that you came to see me? He says, I heard you. And I heard your dua. And after you made your dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala immediately sent a cloud that brought much needed rain, which is life to Madinatul Munawwara. And then this person became sad. Because he did it secretly, sincerely for Allah's sake. We have to do a secret deed. We have to do sometimes secret things. We have to spend secretly without even telling people that it comes from us. And then Ibn Munkadir asked him, is this your occupation? He says, yes, I'm a carpenter. I carve pots. Look at the statement of Ibn Munkadir, brothers. He says, Ama tughni laka nafaqatan tufrigh laka min hadha shughul. He says, don't you have any other income? Don't you have a donor, a sponsor? Someone that can look after you financially so that you don't have to do this work. You just sit in the masjid so that you can make dua. Because when we have people like you in our midst, when we have people of haqq in our midst, then we have to preserve them. We have a few people like that left in the world, brothers, that we have to take care of and we have to look after. You do not have many speakers and promoters of truth. You have entertainers. You do not have many pious people in Allah alam. Wala nuzaki Allah ahada. Allah knows who's pious. We do not purify and make pious anyone. We're not like these fake Sufis and goofies that because of that big green turbans looking like Alibaba and the 40 thieves, big grey beards like Santa Claus and sticks and then coming telling the people flying stories. We're not part of that clan. Piety, at-taqwa hauna, Rasulullah said piety is here. So Allah knows who's pious. We're not saying who's pious. Ibn Munkadir wanted to preserve this person and he was looking for a halal avenue so that this person should not engage in any dunyawi work. He should only engage in ibadah and whatever he had to do to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because through the fadl of Allah upon this person, Medina became Medina again. So when you have people like that, then you will support the cause of truth. He says, no, I don't have any sponsor. I don't have any donor. Same is happening today. Those people speaking the truth, those people who are pious, those people are ulama, senior ulama, want to preserve the deen, they are ridiculed, they are mocked, they are laughed at. Those entertainers, those pop stars, those TV stars, they are jetted abroad, they are given 5-star treatment, they are paid top dollar, and everything goes to them. This is, see, how perverted we are. Ibn Munkari rahimahullah says, he looks at him, he says, so this is your work? He says, yes, this is my work. He says, I overheard you and your dua. He looks at Al-Munkadir, Ibn al-Munkadir, and he tells him that I ask you in the name of Allah 2 things. Number 1, you're not going to tell anyone about my existence. You're not going to display and showcase my actions to anyone. You're not going to post it on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and what's not, and all of these other rubbish things out there, and exposing my ibadah like people do nowadays, sitting from there, sitting with the mushaf, someone has to take a photo from the side, and you think the person is deeply engaged in ibadah. That's the biggest shaitan, sitting there for name and fame, having other pictures. They commission people to take pictures from them, and then they make a big noise. Oh, how can you take a picture of me? He commissioned the people to take pictures of him in the first place. This is what they do. Name and fame and ostentation. He says that's the first condition. Number 2, that you don't tell anyone until you die. You keep this information with you until you leave this world. I don't want to be known. I don't want people to come and visit me. I don't want people to frequent my house. I have my halal income. All I want to do is serve Allah and do my religious duties and be ordinary as I can be. I don't know if Allah has accepted my ibadah. I don't know if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven me nothing. You leave me alone as is. Reluctantly, Muhammad ibn al-Munkari rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, yes, I have to agree. Brothers, he kept that secret with him until a few moments before he passed away. Just before he passed away, he related the story, because in the story there's ibrah, there's lessons for other people. That you're not going to win the battle against the kuffar. You're not going to overthrow your enemies with all your degrees and ideologies and all these sellouts out there. What you need before embarking on what is happening in the world now, you need to make right what is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You need to sacrifice one night's salah, one night's sleep to make salatul tahajjud. It might just be your dua and Allah will change all of our conditions. You need to show the kuffar that we don't worry about January and February and March. We'll all start marching. No, we're not like that, brothers. We march every day. So you need to show the kuffar that a Muslim, whether it is dharra or sarra, whether it's good times or bad times, that we are generous, we spend. We spend for the love of Allah and for the sake of Allah. Don't let them instill these kufr values in you. Don't worry about your tomorrow. Allah has already decreed what will come to you tomorrow. وَمَا تَدْرِي نَفْسٌ مَاذَا تَكْسِبُ غَدًا, Surah Luqman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no soul knows what it will earn tomorrow. You don't even know if you're going to be alive tomorrow, so what you worried about the sustenance of tomorrow? Live for today. Spend for today. And do actions for today. Take lesson from what happened with this slave, a carpenter who brought rain down in Madinatul Munawwara, where the blessed body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. You who have visited Rawdatul Sharifa, you who have visited Medina, when you go there again, if you are there now, or if you've been there recently, that dryness that is there, it was once upon so dry, the people had nothing, and a carpenter came and made dua. Don't look down upon anyone. Don't look down upon anyone. Surround yourself with the people of haqq. Surround yourself with these few last remaining ulama out there that are striving to promote the haqq. Get away from the clowns. They can join Boswell, Wilkie Circus. There's a lot of vacancies for them. They need baboon handlers that side also, brothers. We have seal handlers in Clifton's Fort Beach. We need people to handle baboons on that side also. Stick to that, inshallah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open up the way for me and for you. Don't worry about January. That is also in the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy, inshallah. That, as I mentioned, that over the next few weeks, inshallah, if there's no traveling for me, I hope that there is no traveling. And I think there will be no traveling, inshallah. So then we will continue. I will tell you about what is happening in the world. Jazakumullah khair wal jazaa.